Hi, I'm I'm Barbie. Welcome me. Welcome welcome you. Oh god, I had a greasy one. Um Welcome to Silent Hill. I have something very important to tell you. Now, as you all know, you are gamers, and maybe you're not. Maybe you're new to this franchise. But the world of Silent Hill is a very unique one. There's lots of theories and mysteries of why it came to be. Um, what I've seen through the PlayStation 2, god damn it, those were expensive games. I could have bought a brand new system for one of those cartridges, but they're all gone. Anyway, I digress. This, as you see, is the wondrous Heaven's Night. It is, as you can see, a bar, lots of drinks, and a stripper pole in the middle of a rotten town. There's not much entertainment for men, but hey, when they're not truck driving and logging, they are here entertaining some very beautiful women. Now let's go on a journey. Um, okay, I'm not actually in Silent Hill. See, the thing is, I can't afford the new version on the PS5. Um, so I'm kind of stuck with the old version. Anyway, let's finish this video real quick. Um, there's someone I want you to meet before you disappear. See, Silent Hill was it was a love letter to the pain and trauma of losing someone. See, James Sunderlan, as every lore says, is a bad person. He suffocated his dying wife with a pillow, and he torments through the trauma of whether he actually committed the murder or didn't. It's kind of unfair. She asked him to kill him, but, just like Dr. Kevorkian, um, people have to die on their own. So he's forced with this guilt. Unlike another person here. And I'll just fast forward. This is Angela. You never see her in the original Silent Hill. You just pass through the graveyard, you never notice her. I don't know why my controllers are all dying, but they are. So I'll tell you about the story about Silent Hill. See, Silent Hill isn't actually a place. As you notice, around you develops your own Silent Hill when you come to these points in life. Trauma. Poor Angela here. She holds a knife dearly to her. The knife, I think, is symbolic of staving away the demons that have hurt her. And I guess on some level, she may have wanted to stab her brother and father. But she holds it so weakly, she could never use it. But what is interesting is um, the character. Um, Forgive me if I forget her name. Maria. Now, Maria is the spicy version of mm, Mary, his wife. See, Silent Hill is supposed to be a purgatory for people who commit sins that they can't cope with. It's not hell, but it's a gray area, just like the gray dust. So he can't cope with the fact that he killed his wife, even though she asked him to. But what is clear is that he's not alone, and that lots of humans are facing this purgatory. Whether or not you bring in the storylines of Heather or other characters. Mm. Mm. Strawberry. You're still dealing with characters, I'm so sorry, that have to deal with loss and how they handled loss. And they thought it was best handled in their hands. What is Silent Hill? It's not a judgment or tormentor. There's no death. Pyramid Head, if you know Pyramid Head, he's the um, triangle-headed guy carrying the big sword with the meat cleaver dress on. Sometimes he ignores people all completely. He just wanders and does what his job is. He's a servant of the underworld. And Silent Hill is that too. Was James wrong for killing his wife? She was dying and she asked him to kill her. She brought him to Silent Hill. She was dying. She wanted to die in the honeymoon hotel on a lake. And that's where they had their wedding. What do you call it? Their honeymoon. They had their honeymoon at that lake, so she wanted to die there. And he hated himself for giving her that wish. So how does she atone for it? She gives him this nightmare that he has to wander through, his demons. And he has to meet Maria, the spicy. She's still white, but she likes Latin culture. She likes the spicy. She wanted to spice it up for James, so he wouldn't see her as a sick old woman. And she said, "Just end it for me, James. This world is too painful." So Maria is there to guide him. The problem is that the art direction got too creative, I'm guessing. And they wanted Maria. She's a character. She has too much life. So, you know what I think? I think Mary reincarnated into Maria. She gets to be the spicy woman. Now, if you played Silent Hill 2, you know there's a bonus game. I never saw it. I had to play it through on a walkthrough video, so I never actually played it. Um, but I did see that there are no demons in her version of Silent Hill. So when I look at Angela, I can only imagine what her version of Silent Hill, because every person, Silent Hill shows a different side of their personalities through the monsters that they meet and encounter in Silent Hill. And Angela's are mostly rapists. See, Angela's story is pretty simple. Her brother and father raped her repeatedly, and the only person who she felt like she could trust, because she was isolated, was her own mother. So now she weekly carries a knife, and she can't use it for shit. So she just gives it to James. I mean, she only uses it as a comfort of warmth, because she, as weak as she is, she would, even if she was being unhandled inappropriately by people that she gave her complete trust in, she could never use it on them. But she still wishes, just sometimes you just say it that you're brave. I mean, her clothes, they want her to be pretty. It doesn't matter her looks. Sometimes you take advantage of young women who aren't that pretty, because they're an easier target. They have low self-esteem. They think they deserved it. It's a horrible game in that world. I was put in that world. I was told I was famous, I was successful, I had potential, and they knew I just had another face in the crowd. So what does this say about James Sunderlan? Well, like most protagonists, he's neither guilty nor innocent. Like, you had this bond with your woman, your wife, Mary, and she wanted to die. As your husband, she put herself up in a hotel. Yeah, this is a memory. Silent Hill is always a memory. The new one is a Japanese memory. The old one is another town, maybe Santa Cruz. But these are all memories. Silent Hill always looks different. This town looks different from Silent Hill 1. And it looks different from Silent Hill 3, and the room is in Michigan. It just manifests. It's a memory. This is a memory of James. This little town where they had their honeymoon on, because they probably had a little bit of money and a hatchback. But she was dying of an illness, and she just wanted to go there with James there. And he screwed it up. She didn't know. She was dying, but he screwed it up with the footage and the VHS and the evidence. You know what would have been a better ending for Silent Hill? He smothers her with the pillow, and she says, "Thank you, James." I didn't know how I could end it myself. Thank you for being there with me. And then she falls asleep forever, able to leave Silent Hill. And James? Look, I was dying, James. And then we all want something fun and cha-cha, so Mary gets reincarnated into Maria. But the point is that he still can't move on. So, well, I don't know what Silent Hill is, but apparently there's aliens. Maybe they're testing humans. The little Doge. I don't know. But if they're testing humans, like, how does James get out of this purgatory? Because Mary is living on in Maria. And James is still stuck in on the earthly remains. Mary can't reach out to the earthly world anymore. She's on a higher dimension. So what can she do? We don't know. But Mary is Maria. She is a reincarnation of all the things she wanted to be, at least for a brief second. To be a spicy Latin hooker on a Saturday night, throwing handcuffs, furry ones at that, at James. Even though she's an old woman dying. Mary's going to God, but James has hell on earth. And I think that may be the answer that you're looking for when you're trying to find an answer. Is James really a bad person? No, she chose where she wanted to die. At the little hotel. Mary chose that she wanted to die looking at Toluca Lake in a little honeymoon suite. And her last moments were with her lover. But the living can't deal with what the dead want. So James has to go through purgatory. That's how I see it. And the screams, oh. It doesn't matter. What kind of screams do you make when you lose your last breath? You don't know. I don't know what my mom's screams were on her last breath. I wasn't there in the room. I heard my cat. Nobody was in the room, but we couldn't look. We let death come for her. I blame myself on all sorts of things, but a cat of 18 or 20 years with tooth decay, trouble eating. It's amazing she lived that long. My mom, she could have gone a year sooner. We put her on those meds and they slowed it for just a little longer. No, James isn't guilty. And Silent Hill. It's funny because my mom never complained that I played this game in the garage. She hated horror games. There's some hope. That's why it's very popular. More than Resident Evil with all that military bullshit. There's something real about Silent Hill that we all have. My dad, he says the same thing. He says, your drinking killed your mother. My drinking didn't kill my mother. Her physical illness with MLS killed her. If anything, I kept her alive. I laid in bed crying, hoping, praying. And when I had the strength, I only went to her, asking her if she had appointments, if she ate, how's she feeling. She couldn't talk. She couldn't give more to this world in that state. There's nothing I could have done, and whatever my dad and sister say, they're liars. There's nothing any of us could have done. There was something I could have done. He should have been there. He was right there. He wasn't working. He was right there next door to her. He hurt her when he fed her. He went too fast, too slow. He didn't care what she felt. She's an object. She said, "Don't put food in my food tube so quickly." He just glomps it all in to get it done with. Yes, an inconvenience for your rock show. He watches a rock where they dig up rocks and sift rocks through water, hopefully finding gold. They just import gold from South America and then they throw a bunch of shards in there. It's stupid. The show's stupid. They're running a loss, I'm sure. You can't be a gold digger. Fine, dig gold out of the mountains. Get crap from nothing. No, but Silent Hill is important. That's why it's one of the best-selling video games out there. And beaten Resident Evil in depth and morality. Jill Valentine with a spider. She couldn't do shit. That's me, Avian Ranch, signing out.